Hello everyone, welcome to episode 6 of Show Me How It's Done. Today I wanted to continue our festive streak and show you a little project for a Lindt chocolate bar. So we're going to make a little wrapper for this chocolate bar, and you can find these guys anywhere. You can find them at Shoppers, Walmart, Superstore, so Amazon. I have no doubt you'll be able to get your hands on these. And I thought what fun we could have just decorating them and passing them out to a few friends and coworkers this season. So without further ado, I am going to teach you how to make this snowflake one on the right, but I also wanted to show you the original pattern that I made using the Poinsettia Palace Suite on the left here. This one I showcased at my all-day event about a month and a half ago now, and I had a lot of good feedback from it, and a lot of people were wondering if they could get all the measurements. So I thought instead of showing them exactly what they received, I would show an alternative project, but also give you guys an idea of something else that you can make too. So I will go back at the end and give you all the information on the paper colors and what that I used for this one. But for now, I'm going to just showcase this snowflake set here. Okay, so I'm just going to move my screen back for me to see. There we go. Okay, so if you'd like to follow along, what you're going to need to start with is a piece of Misty Moonlight cardstock. And this is going to be cut at 8.5 inches by 7 inches. Now I've got my scoreboard here, and I'm going to actually zoom you guys in because I know sometimes when I'm doing measurements, you really want to see the numbers on my board, okay? So I've lined my paper up along the 8.5 inch side. You can see that's taking up the full width of this space at the top. So we're going to add a few score marks here, and that is what is going to fold around our chocolate bar. Okay, so there will be 4 of them. The first one is at 1.25, so that is that kind of higher tick mark here. So 1.25. Then you're going to move to 1.5. So you have 2 marks here, 1.25, 1.5. And then we're going to move down a little bit, and we're going, put your stylus at 5, and then move over 1. That is going to be 5 1/8. That is what it is, this little tiny tick mark right beside the 5 inch mark, okay? So 5 1/8, and then you can go back to that mark and move over 2, and that's going to be 5 3/8. Okay, we're using a few different measurements today, but we've got 1.25, 1.5, but then we've got the 5 1/8 and 5 3/8, and that's giving us enough of a buffer to get around our chocolate bar so that it can slide in and out. If we make it even tighter, it would be completely attached, and your poor recipient would have to wreck this box when they take out the chocolate bar. But this way, they can keep it. All right, so that is your only measurements that you need to do with this scoreboard, so you can put it away. And you can bring this back down in front of you. I'm going to zoom out. There we go. So hopefully you've got a bone folder handy because it's one of our standard tools. We're going to go ahead and fold on all of these lines that we just made. Okay, so a nice crisp line. They're very skinny sections here, so just get right in there. Nice skinny lines like so. And they're all folding in, okay? So all 4 of these folding in because they're going to make our wrapper for us. All right. Now, I do suggest using double-sided tape for this project. What we're going to want to do is, you can see if you kind of play with your box, it should fold up into a nice little box as it is. I like to keep as much of this big flap visible as possible, so I'm just using that tiny little flap on the left side as an adhesive barrier. Okay, so we're going to grab our double-sided tape, And you can go ahead and just put a full strip down the edge of this skinny little strip on the left, like so. And then you'll see this part here is what we want to connect, right? So we're going to put another piece of tape just on this right-hand side. As much adhesive as possible to keep this box nice and secure. All right, so you can go ahead and take off those tape pieces, the backings. I would grab your box right now, okay? Grab your Lindt chocolate box. You can do this without the box, but I find it's really nice to be able to just make sure that I've got a nice snug position around my box, that I'm not, you know, if I was to do it over top, I might end up folding part of the box in. It's not nice. So just grab a nice Lindt chocolate box. Everyone should just have these in their house. And make a nice little wrapper, like so. Okay? There we go. So I don't like to show the side that has my lines, so I'm actually going to turn my chocolate around, and we're going to play with the front of this box and decorate it. You can leave your chocolate bar inside now because we're going to start building things on top of here, and it will give you a nice platform to work on. Okay, so we've got our nice wrapper. So what I would like to do next is make a little kind of border. So I'm using my soft, my Seaside Spray cardstock, pardon me, and this one is going to measure 3 3/8 by 6 1/4. Okay, that's going to get attached straight onto here. So again, if you've got some seal, you can switch to that if you want. I've got my tape handy, so we'll just keep going with this. So once again, this was a 3 3/8 by 6 1/4 piece of Seaside Spray cardstock. You don't need to worry about putting dimensionals on these pieces because we're putting a lot of dimension in our little decal, so we don't need it in the base here. All right, there we go. And of course, we'd like some patterned paper. So I chose to use the Snowflake Splendor Designer Series paper. This is retiring as of January 5th, just because it was in our holiday catalog. But the good news for you is that it's on sale because of that. So if you're interested, I will post all of the information after the class. But you're going to cut this guy at 3 1/8 by 6. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, this one, what did I tell you? This one should be 6 3/4. This one should be 6 1/2. Okay, so 3 1/8 by 6 1/2. And you again can choose whichever side of the paper you like. I thought these snowflakes were nice and vivid, so I'm going to use them. Go. Perfect. Okay, so we've got a beautiful base now, and this means it's time to decorate. Okay, so what I'd like to start with first is these circles here on the bottom. So what I've done is from our layering circles dies, I used the largest scallop and I used the Misty Moonlight cardstock to cut a piece out of that. And then with my stitched shapes, because I like this stitched look on it, you could easily use the solid circle instead from this same die set. If you own the stitched shapes, it's nice to switch and use the stitched circle. It's the largest one in that set for this project. And then I used the silver foil, but I ran it through my winter snow embossing folder, and that gives the beautiful snowflake look right in the back. So it's probably blinding you because it's very bright, but it is a gorgeous embossing folder. Again, unfortunately it's retiring, but you can still get your hands on all of the things that I'm showing you Some of them are going to be on sale, like the embossing folders, 50% off right now. And they'll last you, I promise, for quite some time because they are just beautiful, beautiful sets. Okay. There we go. And then on the back of this, we are going to put some dimensionals. We want to start bringing our project to life a little bit. Make sure you've got quite a few on there because you're still piling all those snowflakes on top. And you want to make sure that it has enough of a foundation. Okay, and this just goes right in the middle of my project. So I do have a couple little things here. You are welcome to do this one of two ways. So I could either put this down, and I usually just tuck these pieces in behind, but I should show you one other easy way to do this too before I lay those down. So what I've done is I actually took a bunch of the dies from the Poinsettia Palace suite because I used those as my background in this project here. I thought they looked quite nice, and I just changed the colors up. So I did 2 of the little leaves, I did 2 of these stems, and I did 2 of these branches here, okay? So what we're gonna do, if you want a different idea than just kind of sticking them in the back with a little glue on the pieces, is you can set these guys down where you think you'd want them. I always start with the top corner here because this one is focused on the top right. Okay, so I've got 3 pieces down, and here's your easy peasy way of getting all of these in place without much work. Put a piece of tape right across those 3. As long as it's touching part of the stems on all of them, you will be fine. Okay, so then we're going to just put this down so you can roughly see where you'd want the bottom to go, which is going to be right down here, okay? So I'm going to just move that away, put these in place the exact same way, laid down, and then you can also just check if you want, make sure it's nicely covered. Yes, perfect. And put another piece of tape over top, okay? Your other option was, of course, to put this down first, put a little bit of glue on the back of each of the pieces, and just kind of sift them into position behind this. It will work either way, and it will look gorgeous no matter what you do, okay? So we have a beautiful base. We need some glitter. So I chose to use, of course, the So Many Snowflake Dies, but I wanted to bring a little shine to my card, so I'm using the Balmy Blue glitter paper. So what I've done is I've cut out 1 of 4 of the different snowflakes. You can choose whichever ones you like, but I like these ones because they just build so nicely together. So let me show you how I put those together to get the best look possible. Okay, so we're using dimensionals, and we're starting off, this guy's the largest one, you can see that. We're starting with the second largest one, this guy here. Put a dimensional right in the middle of him. And then you're gonna put the largest one over top. This gives you a really, really nice kind of subtle 3D effect in the back, but a good base to work the rest of your pieces on for, okay? So you'll notice I didn't end up cutting out these little pieces. They would have easily fallen out if I wanted them to by poking them, but you don't need them, okay? So put a dimensional in the back of this guy, put him in the middle of that, and then we're on to the last little piece here, like so. There we go. And then we do have some blue adhesive back gems that you can certainly use. I also really like these clear faceted gems because I think they bring a nice subtle kind of crystal look to your project, and they almost tone down some of the brightness a little bit. So I chose to use those guys. I'm going to, of course, put dimensionals on the back of my snowflake here. So you can go every second snowflake. Make sure you got one in the middle, like that. And then this is going to go straight onto the middle of your project. Okay, so I didn't do all of the die cutting work on screen for you. Of course, your own prep would take a little longer because you'd have to cut out all these pieces. But I'd suggest make these for like 10 people. Once you start rolling, you will actually find it's not that much more work to do a couple extra ones. All right, and then once you have your chocolate bar, they can easily slide in and out. You can peek and see what flavors there are. And then as I promised, I will just make a mention of a few things on the poinsettia piece. So I used a crumb cake base, the Real Red for my shadow, and then I used the Poinsettia Place Designer Series paper. The colors for my greenery were Old Olive, Gold Foil, and the Garden Green. And then my poinsettia was made using red glimmer paper, which we currently don't have. But I have lots if anyone needs some, and I'm sure it will come out again. It's very seasonal, just like the Balmy Blue. It was a special from last year. You can also use our red velvet paper or just a standard cherry cobbler or Real Red cardstock would look nice as well, but I like the glimmer or the felt. So use the velvet paper. It's really nice. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed our project today. I hope that you're getting ready for Christmas and that you're excited. I will have one more video for you before Christmas comes, so stay tuned next week and stay crafty, guys. Bye!